I'm Allison from Learning at the Primary Pond. I'm a literacy specialist, and in this video, I'm going to share how you can bring differentiation into your whole group phonics instruction. Because yes, you can differentiate even if you're teaching whole group. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I'd love for you to do that now, and then also hit the little bell so that you don't miss out on any of the brand new videos I post about teaching literacy. Something that can be really tricky about teaching phonics, especially in like K2, K through 3rd, is that it's such an essential skill set, but not all of your kids are at the same place in their learning. In fact, let me know in the comments if your most recent class had they were pretty much on the same page, or if you had a big range. Curious to know. So leave me a comment about that. But then the thing about that is yes, it's tricky, but learning wise, if a child is still working on short vowels and you are teaching vowel teams, long vowels, they're probably not going to master it. Or even if they do master some of it, they won't have fully solidified their short vowel knowledge, so they're going to end up with gaps. Phonics is one of those subject areas that is really developmental, where we need to be more or less addressing what that particular child needs. Now, I know with a whole class of students, that's kind of impossible to, perfectly address every child's needs, but there absolutely are differentiation strategies that you can use. And actually, I go into a ton of these strategies in my book, The Phonics Playbook. I will include a link in the caption, but I'm going to share a little sneak peek of some of these differentiation strategies for when you're teaching phonics whole group that you can put into place to still meet a wide range of kids' needs. So your first kind of layer of strategy would be, number one, to have kids work strategically in partners, which you may already be doing, but also pay attention so that the gap between partners is not huge. It's ideal if there is one student who's a little bit more advanced than the other, because they can kind of guide them along, but you don't want to take your highest student and have them work with your lowest student, because that's just too big of a gap, typically, for it to be very productive for either of them. So there's that. Another thing you can do is just when you're planning questions to ask the kids, or even words for them to spell, words for them to read, you can plan like a core set of questions, for example, that will, meet the needs of your average student, but then, put in an easier question for kids that are better suited to that, right? And you can call on them. Put in a more advanced question for kids that are ready for a challenge, okay? So you can vary the difficulty level of questioning. You can also vary the difficulty level of words that you're giving kids to read and spell. We'll talk more about how to do that in a second, but even if you're just whole group, kids are building words with magnetic letters, that's a great activity. You can still include some harder words and some easier words, and it's okay if not all kids are able to spell those words. Similarly with word reading, maybe you have a list and some of them are everybody has to read them, and some of them are challenge words. So again, everybody might get the same list, but they get different things out of it, okay? So then the next layer of strategies would be to actually use differentiated materials, meaning that all kids are doing a very similar task, but they might be doing them with different words or, different types of decodable text. So let's talk about and you can apply this concept to different activities, but this could be a word sort maybe, or a word list that you're having kids read to apply their new knowledge of the OA vowel team. So maybe you have a word sort, for example, that has a bunch of words like this, where it's just a consonant, the vowel team, and another consonant, right? So there's fewer sounds than if you have words like throat, right? We have a digraph blend there. And then cloak, we have a blend. So there's more going on here for the kids to have to attend to if they're reading words like this. And then we can make it even more challenging, and I have this just labeled as level 1, level 2, level 3, if we have them use words like rowboat. So, compound words or multisyllabic words. Again, all of these things are working on the vowel team OA. We're just thinking strategically about what specific other types of language patterns, phonics patterns, are we putting in the words, so that, maybe all kids are working on the sort, but some kids get this group of words, some kids get this group. And that allows you, therefore, to differentiate. You can do this kind of thing with blending lines too. You could have some sets that have inflectional endings like ing, ed, some sets without. You could again use this kind of leveling system. And then you could also actually use different levels or different difficulty levels of decodable text. Our phonics program from Sounds to Spelling does this, where you get like a core text and then you get one that's easier. And you can actually probably, like, if you have passages that are just at one level, or you create some, or use even AI to generate some, be careful with that. Make sure the AI knows what it's doing, and you got all the words in there that are appropriate for kids. But anyway, however you want to do this, you can have one core text and then maybe one that's easier. And by easier, I mean maybe there's fewer words and sentences. Maybe there's fewer inflectional endings. Maybe there's fewer multisyllabic words, if that's, relevant for the particular text. Just look at the complexity of the sentences and the difficulty level of the words, and that will help you figure out how you can make a text a little bit easier for kids that need more support. This was really just the tip of the iceberg of all the differentiation strategies I have for you in my book, The Phonics Playbook. Link will be in the caption of this video. We talk not just about differentiating in whole group, but also if you want to use small group instruction, how do you structure that? How do you make it work when you do have a big range of needs and you feel like you have to have 10 groups? Like, is it even possible to use small groups? It is. I give you all the strategies. The playbook is exactly what it sounds like. It's not just, in theory, these are, good practices, or these are the principles. I do give you the research-backed principles, but it is so tactical. So literally you can take the book, read it, and start implementing this in your classroom immediately. It's that practical. All right, check the caption for the book link. I hope that this was helpful. Before you leave, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.